I want to thank everybody for taking some time out of your day to join the weekly Code Ninjas conference call. My name is Marty Flanagan, and I am the Vice President of Franchising over here at Code Ninjas. We host these calls each and every week to help give you a better understanding of just where we're going, what's happening with Code Ninjas. If you haven't spoken to somebody at all in our office, then this will give you some insight on who we are. How these calls work, we usually have anywhere from 25 to 35, sometimes up to 50 attendees on each one of these calls. The first 10 or 15 minutes is always the same. What we do is we give you a little bit of a history on Code Ninjas, where we come from, our past, our present, and what we're expecting in the future. Give you a little bit of insight on maybe a little bit of our curriculum, why we're a franchise, about our support structure internally. And then we dive into what we call our Q&A segment. The Q&A segment is going to be your opportunity to ask any questions you want in regards to Code Ninjas. So if you've received the franchise disclosure document or you've read something online and you have questions on franchising side of it, on territories, hiring, whatever it might be that you have more questions on, that's going to be your time to ask those questions. All these calls are recorded, and they are hosted on our YouTube channel. We've been doing these calls for 2 years almost, and we have almost all of them on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and listen to quite a few of them. Sometimes those Q&A segments go for an hour. Sometimes they go for a half hour. So it's really kind of just dependent on your questions at that time. So like I said, if you're just joining us, my name is Marty Flanagan, the Vice President of Franchising here with Code Ninjas. And what we like to do is kind of go over our past, our present, and the future and kind of what's happening. So who is Code Ninjas? What are we? What do we do? We teach kids how to code through a game-based curriculum. We are an experience. We are a physical center. When it comes to our motto, which is kids have fun, parents see results, that's really the core of what we want to accomplish. We want kids engaged. We want them having fun. We want them learning. We want moms and dads, or dads and dads, or moms and moms, however you want to say it, parents engaged with Code Ninjas. We want you to understand where your son or where your daughter is going, what's happening, and we love that parents stay connected through we have something called our parent portal, which parents can stay connected with what their son or their daughter is accomplishing through Code Ninjas. So where do we come from, really? So our founder, David Graham, he's the founder and CEO of Code Ninjas. David Graham has been a programmer and a coder his entire life, right? Well, not his entire life, but over 25, almost 30 years, a programmer and a developer and an entrepreneur. And so as he kind of went down this road of understanding coding and developing, he obviously saw a lot of the external benefits of what that brings to a human being in terms of problem-solving skills and problem identification. And so as he started to come on his entrepreneur road, he actually owned a school that taught adults how to code. And that company that he owned, he had that for 4.5 years that operated in 18 different cities. And obviously he got a lot of insight on teaching adults how to code as a vocational side of things. But there wasn't much time that went by before he was just asked on a regular basis about how the younger generation can get involved. So he would get continuous questions about how can my kid get involved? How can my niece get involved? How can I get this younger generation involved in understanding the value and understanding and learning how to code? It is part of the future. It's going to be here whether we like it or not. So those questions kind of naturally came. So what happened is David actually sold his past company that was focused more on adults and the vocational side of it and started really focusing on how the younger generation can get involved. So he sold that company in 2016. David Graham, Bert Sensipon, and myself started Code Ninjas officially, kind of launched us as a brand in early 2017, but we were developing what Code Ninjas was going to be in 2016. We built Code Ninjas from day one to be a franchise. So when David, Bert, and I were sitting in David's home office conjuring up these ideas on what we can do, we brought this into the whole world of franchising. We knew it from day one. We knew we needed the roadmaps to be there for franchisees no matter their business acumen. We know that franchisees are going to be able to, entrepreneurs can deliver an experience and keep us at the tip of the spear in the industry. We knew that all those were important. So and know that entrepreneurs can do that and help us do that. So we launched as a franchise. We opened our first center in March of 2017. That's when Code Ninjas opened their first center in Pearland, Texas, which is our corporate-owned center. Fast forward today, 19 months, 20 months later, about 20 months later, we are at 350 sold locations in the U.S. We have about 75 locations currently enrolling students. We have 150 franchisees, and that is very exciting. That is very validating on who Code Ninjas is, what we're doing, and really our purpose. It was very validating that this kind of response has come from the marketplace of what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're on the cusp of accomplishing what only 2% of franchises ever accomplish, which is having 100 locations open within the first 24 months of awarding franchises. So we're right on that cusp. It looks like we're going to be able to actually surpass that number by March of 2019. Looks like we're going to have projected to have close to 125 locations open and operated. So why is that? Why has there been this huge response and validation from the marketplace with Code Ninjas? There's other opportunities out there, and I'm sure you've looked at them, you've seen them. Why Code Ninjas? So why has all this come about? And we tell everybody, it's not, if you're looking for just a curriculum, then we're looking in the wrong spot, because we're not just a curriculum. The list of reasons why Code Ninjas is so dominant and has become so dominant, it can go on and on and on and on. I mean, there's so many differences. When people will ask, what's the main difference? What's the main difference? I mean, I could go on for hours of the main differences, and we can do that more one-on-one too, based on what you're looking for. But let's start with just the main part of Code Ninjas that we get probably the most attention for, which is going to focus on curriculum and experience. So we talked just about the curriculum side of it for a minute. What is the big difference? Why are we such in a place with our curriculum that parents are coming to us like crazy? Why students are coming to us? Set aside the entrepreneur fact, just the kind of attention that our centers are getting from their communities. Well, one of it's going to be continuous curriculum. We don't just have one opportunity for families to get involved. We have multiple. So multiple opportunities. We have Parents' Night Out. We have camps that are usually a half day long for a week. We have workshops that parents can get involved in. We have our drop-in program. We also have our after-school program. We have birthday parties. So there's multiple opportunities to engage your community and engage students. Our most popular, and which is going to be revenue side of it and parent side of it, our most popular is our drop-in program. The drop-in program is really what has been noticed by a lot of the entrepreneurial community is going to be, and parents, is our drop-in program. That drop-in program, that's a continuous curriculum. That's a cumulative curriculum. It's all intertwined. It all keeps going. It's 2 to 4 years to accomplish that curriculum. That curriculum is made up of 9 different belts. Each belt has a certain set of learned set of skills and concepts within inside of it. This is the only coding system on the market, coding program on the market, taught program on the market that has its own LMS, learning management system. There's Code Ninjas, from what I understand, the research that we've done, we're the only company that has an LMS for coding. We have our own learning management system. So we call it our game development platform. This tests the proficiency of our students, and which then allows them to progress through to the next belt. So as they work through each belt, they continue to learn skills and concepts, and they have to continue to show their proficiency, if you want to say test out, to progress to the next belt. Every single belt compounds onto one another, works inside of one another, like compound interest. So there's no like I'm going to do the black belt, and then I'm going to do this belt, and then I'm going to do that belt. Nope, it's all intertwined. It's all connected. This curriculum is a self-paced but not self-taught curriculum. This curriculum is currently about 45% proprietary and exclusive just to Code Ninjas. And we're right on the edge of surpassing 50% here shortly, where our curriculum is going to be more than 50% here shortly, proprietary and exclusive just to Code Ninjas. This also comes with proprietary textbooks that are along with it. This curriculum lives on our platform in the cloud, and our students can only access this through our dashboard. So when they come in, they're going to scan their wristband, which is the same color of the belt that they're on. They're going to scan that wristband. That's going to unlock their ability to access the curriculum from inside of the dojo. So this curriculum also is an 8-to-1 ratio. 8-to-1 ratio, we have our code senseis. So every one code sensei, we have obviously 8 students. So this curriculum is, like I said, it is a self-paced but not self-taught curriculum. So when they sit down, they have their textbooks, they log in. When they're on the dashboard, they can actually go back and play the games that they've already built. They can go back and do some of the projects they've already done. And also, they learn how to navigate it. So as they work their way through, they're navigating through the curriculum. They can do collaboration events inside that dashboard as well. And when they get stuck and they have questions, they're going to raise their hand. A coach sensei is going to come over and work with them on an individual basis on the hurdle that they're facing at that moment, help them problem solve that, help them work through that, and then they're able to continue to progress and continue to learn. So that curriculum, like I said, that itself takes 2 to 4 years to accomplish. They're going to work through multiple technologies, multiple languages through that. We don't have a made-up language. We didn't sit down and make up a coding language. It's real stuff. It's real technology that they're going to be using within those 9 belts. And like I said, that takes about 2 to 4 years. They're going to access this curriculum up to 2 hours a week. They're going to access that. They can come in 1 day a week for 2 hours. Some of our centers are practicing, are experimenting and beta testing 1 hour a week. You can come in twice a week for 1 hour each. You can come in once a week for 2 hours. We're able to pivot pretty quick and move this with our community to understand kind of where they fit. Parents are going to pay a flat monthly tuition for this curriculum. This curriculum also in early 2019 is going to have reciprocity. So when they can go into any Code Ninjas, they're going to walk in, scan their wristband, and be able to sit down and do their curriculum where they left off, whether they're on vacation or they're on the other side of town. This is about convenience for our families as well. This is a drop-in, like I said, a flexible learning system. They are not having to schedule times. They do not have to come to a class or a lecture. This is them coming in independently when they come into Code Ninjas. If you want to talk about collaboration events, that's going to be our camps. That's going to be our workshops. That's going to be our birthday parties. That's going to be our parents' night out. But the drop-in program itself, that's that self-paced program. There's no scheduling for that. So you can see there's multiple opportunities for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. So when a family comes in the front door, based on their experience, based on their finances, based on their just overall commitment to this type of learning, we can work with them. We can meet families where they're at and introduce them into our system. If there's a camp out there or a workshop because, hey, it's Christmas break, we have franchisees right now booking out Christmas break for 3 days, booked out, sold out of camps, workshops, for 3-day workshops. There's this tremendous opportunity out there because we have a space that allows families to turn to and come to our space and have that experience inside of Code Ninjas. I was talking to a franchisee yesterday, and she was telling me that every single weekend they have an event. Every weekend there's some sort of event at their center that is bringing in new families with the existing families. We know that there's going to be turnover. We do know that attrition, drop-off, that's a real thing. So by able to continue to offer different programs, different opportunities, you're going to be able to continue to engage families. Even if one program doesn't work, you're going to be able to continue to engage them with other opportunities, coding a drone, beginning JavaScript, or if it's going to be a game builders program. There's multiple opportunities for families to get involved in Code Ninjas. So obviously multiple different revenue streams for you as a franchisee as well. So you can see why we needed to be a franchise with this, because delivering and looking at this and being able to deliver this as an entrepreneur with all different business acumens, we're here to support you and guide you, which brings me to internal franchising side of it. We chose to be a franchise versus a corporate run because we know that delivering the experience in your market is going to be critical. You can have the best curriculum in the whole wide world, and you could be the smartest coder and programmer that's ever been. But bottom line is, if your experience is dull and kids are not enjoying themselves, not having fun, families are not engaged, not having fun, you will lose people faster than you're going to get. You're going to lose your customers. So we do know that experience is critical to the key to your success, and balancing that with a curriculum that is, world class. So when we talk about all this, we don't focus in on one language as well. When you look at our curriculum, we know that a great coder and a great programmer can pick up a language over a period of a week, but those critical thinking skills, problem identification, problem solving, the collaboration, time management, leadership, those skills, those underlying skills is what we focus on inside of our curriculum. Those skills are the ones that make a great coder, a great programmer, and the best critical thinker, problem solver the world can see. So we know that. So learning how to code is involved in that, obviously. So as a franchise, we support you as a franchisee. And how does all that work in terms of support? I don't know how to code. I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. Or even if you have a lot of coding programming, your business acumen will be a little bit different. We want to provide that box and that roadmap for you so that your business acumen can kick in, your creativity can kick in, and you can create that culture and that experience that'll be a little bit different at every Code Ninjas, because everybody's a little bit different. But how can we give you that box, and what do we do with that? So we have different tools like Code Ninja University, which gives you an opportunity to do tons of reading, looking at tons of documents, and be able to pull stuff offline to be able to, whether it's going to be different internal daily planner documents, or if it's going to be just understanding the language of coding and understanding what does all that mean. We provide newsletters on a weekly basis, or every couple of weeks. We have weekly owner calls. We also believe in collaboration. Franchisee to franchisee collaboration is a big part of every great brand success. So we have internal programs, an internal platform for you to connect with franchisees immediately. So the day you become a franchisee, you're connecting with all of our franchisees all across the country, all the center directors, sharing best practices. What stage you're in, you can actually work with other franchisees in the same stage. Learn from franchisees that have been through that stage already of growth or challenges, and you're immediately sharing those best practices. So we have our conference, our NinjaCon conference, which we host every year, that you can also be a part of. You have also dedicated compliance, dedicated operation, dedicated technology, dedicated performance coaching individuals that you're going to be able to turn to and work with and support, that we have in place to support you as a franchisee. So this gives you a basic idea of who we are, right? We have our branding. We have construction manuals and design manuals. We have preferred vendors for everything you can think of internally inside your Code Ninjas, whether it's going to be signage, whether it's going to be financial for lenders. The roadmap is there for you. So we have our vendors in place, real estate vendors in place. We help you identify your territory, work with you one-on-one to help identify the best market for you and where you're going to be at. We have markets that are unavailable, right? We have markets like Houston, which is completely sold out, Houston in the suburbs, Austin sold out in the suburbs. I think there's like maybe one left in San Antonio. I mean, New Jersey is very difficult. And down in Miami is going to be very difficult. We have a lot of markets that are pretty full. So working with myself or Jeff Thames in one-on-one to talk about your market would be important. Just to really make sure that you have we have internal matrix to make sure that those markets are viable and available. So this is where we're going to kind of shift now to our Q&A segment. A couple of things that I would suggest for our Q&A segment: don't ask about a territory. If that's a great territory and that territory is available, let's keep that to yourself. Work with me and Jeff Thames and myself one-on-one, and we'll be able to check that territory out, see if it's available, see if it's as great as you think it is, which I hope it is. So how this is going to work for our Q&A section is hit *6, and you can ask any question that you have in regards to Code Ninjas, whether I talked about it today or I didn't talk about it today, and you just have a question that you want to go after. Please feel free. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Fire away. Challenge everything that I say. I go for it. I'm on the phone 8 to 10 hours a day, every single day, and have been for 2 years. There's probably not a question you're going to ask that I have not heard, and I'd be more than happy to answer that. So if I did such a fantastic job that nobody has any questions, then we're going to shut today's call down with 35 attendees. We'll shut the call down today. But if you have questions, this is going to be your time to ask those questions. We have our first question. Great. Awesome. You have a question?
Hi. This is
Hi.
Tara Kumar from Calgary, Alberta in Canada.
Wonderful.
I just wanted to check, do you have franchising opportunities in Canada as well? Because I don't see any locations here.
Yeah, we just started. We just received our Canadian FDD about 60 days ago. So we opened up to Canada. We opened up to Canada about 70 days ago. We opened up the franchising in Canada. We're right on the cusp of having our first probably 5 to 10 locations sold in Canada, probably in the coming weeks. So we're really excited to be opening up in Canada. I would suspect that we'll sell out of Canada by March of 2019 is my guesstimation.
Okay. So can I connect with you separately?
Yes, please.
On
Feel free.
locations and territories in Canada? Yeah? Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, feel free. Awesome. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yep. So my question is in regards to the revenue model, and how do franchisees benefit from this offering? So on your website, we took a look around and we looked at, what the upfront cost looks like typically, and that's on there. But, we're trying to explore a little bit of the revenue model of the franchise and, what's the payback period for something like this?
Sure. So what we've done for those who go into this process with us, we actually have a pretty nice Excel document that we give to you as a tool to use to build out, and we give you a nice meaty email that outlines our revenue models and our opportunities. And then you can use that along with the franchise disclosure document and build out a pretty nice ROI and see what that looks like. You can set your goals. With the revenue streams that we have, again, we do this. We typically do this and give you these tools and explain these to you more on a one-on-one basis. So with the 150 franchisees that we have, like I said, we work with individuals all over, and one-on-one we go more into detail. We do not talk about how much money you can make because in franchising that's illegal if it's outside of our franchise disclosure document. So we'll help you with establishing your BOE, which is that base operating expense, and then building out from there your revenue model. We can give you some ideas and point you in the right direction, but you ultimately have to set those numbers based off of what our current franchisees are doing. You can set your goals and your numbers off of that.
Okay, and I guess my second question, my follow-up question would be, how do we engage you further in that process?
I'm sure if you haven't received an email from myself or Jeff Thames, if you've received the invite to be on today, that means you've also probably received an email from myself or Jeff Thames. That's kind of that starter email. And then usually we set up a call after that to dig in deeper to make sure this is a good fit. We get you all the tools to help you. First, obviously, want to identify to make sure your market is available. And then we get you our franchise disclosure document, give you some more information, really answer any more questions you have, and then just continue to work together, kind of going down this road to make sure this is a good fit for everybody.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I came into this call just like a couple minutes late due to a glitch.
Oh, don't worry. No worries.
My name is Mia, by the way. I did do a bit research on the website, and I noticed that it's up to twice a week a student can go to Code Ninjas and participate in this as well. Why is it only twice a week?
You're talking about the drop-in program. The drop-in program is what you read about, and that drop-in program is that one. It takes about anywhere from 2 to 4 years, anywhere between 2 and 4 years to accomplish by coming in 2 times a week for an hour each time. Too much of any good thing can be bad, right? So one thing with this is pacing the kids so they continue to have fun, they continue to absorb what they're learning, not just power through it as fast as they can to accomplish it, but really to absorb it. Obviously our camps are every day during the summer, half days, full days. Our workshops usually go 2 to 3 days. Sometimes we have one-day workshops. We have an after-school program that's every day for 3 to 4 hours. So there's more than just that one program that you read about online there. That's the one that's our drop-in program that is our most popular and the highest revenue, probably one of the highest revenue-producing aspects of Code Ninjas is that drop-in, and most popular for parents as well. I mean, parents are busy. So this is not just a after-school program. They're not just doing the Code Ninjas curriculum for 3 to 4 hours a day. There's other activities if you choose to do that too.
Oh, okay. That's what I was really wondering about, like the effectiveness it would have for only twice a week on that program. But I guess that actually explained a lot on that. There's more than one thing they could participate in. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So if you have a question, this is going to be your time. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to wrap up this call super early today with no more questions coming in. So if you have a question, this is going to be your time to hit *6 to ask your questions. If not, then we'll just wrap up the call and end it early today. Looks like we have a couple more questions. Hi, you have a question?
Hi, Marty. This is Calvin calling from Canada. We connected on email. Pleasure speaking.
Yes.
Question. If I do what I'm advised to do when operating my franchise and find myself having financial problems, can I expect some assistance from you and your company?
No, we do not.
No.
We will not financially. We will not. And I answered that in the email as well. We don't.
Okay.
If you're financially not doing well, we as a franchise, I don't know any franchise that gives money to their franchisees if the franchisee is not doing well. We don't provide financial assistance. No.
Okay, awesome. And how long will it take for my franchise to reach a break-even point?
So that's a loaded question because there's a lot of unanswered questions there. So I believe you asked this in the email too, and I think I did my best to answer it. But it's really difficult to say when you're going to break even. There's a lot of things I don't know about you. There's a lot of things we don't know about your market. There's a lot of things we don't know about your area in terms of what it's going to cost to run your business, how much you're spending on marketing, how much you're spending on with your team in regards to your payroll, your spending habits. There's a lot that I don't know. So what we do is we give you this great Excel tool that allows you to build it out to really look at your timeline. When will you break even? For example, our centers, when we released our 2018 FDD, our average center opened their doors with 59 students enrolled. Our average drop-in cost was between $180 and $225. So you can do the math there and see that our centers opened with an average of 59 students enrolled. So when they clicked their open sign on, they had 59 students already enrolled. And the average, the range was between $180 and $225 US dollars per month was being paid. So you can do the math. We had our highest was 88 students enrolled. So just by the day they clicked their open sign on, they already had 88 students enrolled. Average is 59. That's inside the franchise disclosure document. So, but just by doing math, you can kind of figure it out. So that's why we give you that Excel document to allow you to use that to build out possible revenues that you can look at, possible ROI that you can see for yourself as well. So knowing that franchising law kind of handcuffs us a little bit, and we're a new branch, we have all these things. We're only been franchising now. In March will be 24 months. We'll have our first center will be open for 2 years, March of 2019. Being that the data is a little bit limited, we wanted to make sure we could provide as much tools for our prospective franchisees as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Marty.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, hi. I was just wondering if you could tell me what type of skills or background should the employees have if we are hiring someone for, to help. I mean, I don't know if I don't know much about this. I'm sorry if I sound clueless.
Totally okay.
Yes, I want to know what type of background they should have if they are helping with the kids and they are in this, in the place to help.
No, don't sound clueless at all. That's a great question. So we give you a entire job description. We give you pathways to find the individuals. Remember, they're teaching and coaching the Code Ninjas curriculum. They're teaching and coaching roadmaps that are already built for Parents' Night Out, camps, workshops, the drop-in, after school, birthday parties. Those roadmaps and those outlines, those agendas are already built, right?
Okay.
So now you're going to be working with people that we know the skills that are going to be needed, and they themselves are going to be doing our curriculum. So they're going to be coaching kids through, the younger generation through our curriculum that they've also already done, because they're going to work through it as code senseis. So we give you the pathway to find code senseis. With more than 75 centers enrolling students, we've never had a problem finding a code sensei.
Okay.
So we give you you have some ideas for training and agendas and all that wonderful stuff as well. So you're not just kind of stuck all alone with that.
Okay, so good training will be there to do that. But is a bachelor's degree or a master's degree required or things like that, or just
not at
curious?
all? No. Remember, they're teaching Code Ninja's curriculum.
Okay, so
they're
that's
part-time.
Okay.
They're part-time, and they're usually between the ages of 17 and 22.
Okay, cool.
And the individuals we hire for this, this is what they want to do with their future. These 17 to 22-year-old kids, these are not the same kids who want to apply to yogurt shop. These are the type of kids that this is what they want to do with their future. So by them getting involved, they're able to feed their own future, because they're going to do a curriculum that they've never seen. They're going to be coaching and teaching kids how to code through a game-based curriculum that they can stick on a college application and a job application in the future.
Okay. Oh, okay. That sounds great. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, you have a question?
Hi, Marty. This is Saad Derez. We've connected over email and in the past.
Oh, yes, sir.
What is the minimum number of workstations that we put down in each center? And I was doing some more math on my own and just trying to figure out my own ROI calculations. So I know
so we give you,
but I also know that
No, okay. So remember with our centers, we allow anywhere from 1,600 to 3,200 square feet. Okay, and this is a great question. Anybody who's listening, this is a great question, and I just want to work through this so you kind of understand this whole process. So 1,600 to 3,200 square feet is our range. Our franchisees currently land at around 1,800. We give you a complete inventory list of what you're going to need for that. Everything from computers to paper to desks, everything is done. Like we have chairs, not desks, but it's like tables, right? So everything is going to be laid out for how many. We even want to work with you based on this to help you understand how many butts you can have in those seats. So you're going to know exactly how many seats are going to be inside your center. You're going to know exactly how many computers you're going to need based on the history of opening up. Having, by the time you open from this phone call, if you were to open, we'll probably have close to 125 to 150 locations open just based on you talking to me today, becoming a franchisee, getting your doors open. That timeline will probably have double the centers we have open now. So that inventory list is always being sharpened. So you're going to know in detail how many machines you're going to need, what you're going to need. It's not like you're going to have to guesstimate it at all. Now, when you look at the franchise disclosure document and on a website, you're going to see inventory list in there that says 5,000 to 12,000. That's because we give you the ability to choose. If you want to start with 10 computers, you can start with 10. If you want to start with 10 laptops, go for it. If you want to do 20, go for it. There's a range there because we allow you to be flexible with your space on for inventory.
That's a good response. Yeah. So perfect. I was thinking that there's a specific number of seats, but that's good to know. Thanks a lot. I'm going to email you some time to chat next week.
Okay. No, and that was just if you're listening. That's a great question because your 1,800 square foot space could be different than somebody's other 1,800 square foot space, where you may have room for 35, they may have room for 40, and another individual may only have room for 30. All 1,800 square foot spaces are not created equal. So just as a rule of thumb, as an example for where most of our franchisees land. So, all right, thanks for your question.
Thanks.
Hi, you have a question? Whoa, on a motorcycle. Do you have a question? No? Okay. Hi, do you have a question?
Yes. Good day, Marty. My name is Devender. I just have a quick question. Is there any? I'm pretty sure you've probably done enough research on this one, but is there any concern that the Code Ninjas is spreading its wings too fast or growing too fast, and you might end up making some mistakes along the way? Just out of curiosity, I just wanted to know. Thank you.
No, it's a fantastic question. I really appreciate it. So just so everybody's kind of understanding what our goals were when we started with Code Ninjas. Our goal in 2017, we wanted to sell 25 franchise locations. In 2018, we wanted to sell 50 franchise locations. And then in 2019, we wanted to really go crazy and sell 100. Those were our goals. But we also thought in our head, what if? We built our company off the what if. So our entire support structure, I spent 12 years with the number one franchise brand in the world right now. I helped them go from 50 locations to 3,600. I focused, and my job was in the help structuring the support system. So I fully understand what good support looks like and what the good, the bad, the ugly. So as we grew as a company and looking at how we grew, the reason that was even able to happen wasn't because we fell on our face and all of a sudden just started signing up franchisees because they had money. We've turned down more people than I think we've actually accepted as franchisees. We built our structure from day one to be a franchise, understanding we need compliance, we need collaboration tools, we needed a platform. Now, have we made mistakes? Yep. Will we continue to make mistakes? Yep. Is that going to be financially detrimental to our franchisees? Nope, because we built it as a franchise from the beginning. The mistakes we make are going to be the mistakes that help us grow and be better, and they're not going to be mistakes that are going to bring us down. But because we're dealing with people, and everybody sees support a little bit differently, everybody sees growth a little bit differently. But programmers and developers love to break stuff. They want to break it so they can fix it. We don't want to break Code Ninjas, but we also understand we're not perfect, and we are going to trip and fall a little bit. But we do have over 30 years of franchising experience, tons of technology experience. We have 3 full-time game curriculum developers. We're constantly and consistently pushing our brand forward, and the only reason we're able to do that is because we have 150 franchisees that are holding us accountable. And some of those franchisees are going to say we make mistakes every day. Some of those franchisees are going to say, I haven't seen me making many mistakes at all. It's really going to be perspective on the mistakes that we make as we move forward. But I do know we're not perfect, and I do know that as a brand, we're getting better and better and better, and it's because of our franchisees and our experience all working together. I hope that makes some sense.
Yes, of course. Can I ask a follow-up question?
Please.
Yes. Just wanted to see, are there any pending litigations or are there any issues so far with anyone?
Well, I mean, pending litigation, no. And pending issues, again, that's perspective. Issues, I guess I would need to know more about what is an issue. If a franchisee is not getting as many leads as they want to on a daily basis and not hitting their projected numbers, that could be considered an issue. A franchisee that is way too busy and is doing better than they ever thought and they're bursting at the seams, that could also be an issue. We don't have any legal cases against us. We've had 0 closures to this point. International Franchising Association called IFA, you can look this up. They say that any franchise usually below a 10% or less closure rate is doing excellent. So just as an idea, when it comes to if whoever is listening in on franchising in general, if a franchise is staying below 10%, they're doing a great job with their franchise.
Oh, okay, got it. I think you answered my question. I was more towards the question was more towards legal, and you answered it. Thank you kindly.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yeah. Hi. Is there? I mean,
Hi.
do you have an idea of the to market time? Like, how much time does it take for a franchisee to be up and running? I mean, is there a
sure? So from the day of from the day a franchisee, from the day a prospective franchisee signs their franchise agreement and becomes a franchisee, they're typically open and operating within 7 months. I can tell you that the prospective franchisees we have in our pipeline right now, they are working very hard to get them to crush that timeline to be open no later than May, because they're going to catch the summer camps. So that summer camp income revenue, it can really benefit any business, because you're really accelerating those times with all that summer camp revenue coming in. So right now, like for example, our next Discovery Day, which is December 13th, those are by invitation only. We're going to probably have 50 attendees, and we normally only allow 30 at our Discovery Days. This one's going to have a lot more because so many of our prospective franchisees want to get open by May. So a lot of people are working really hard right now so they can get open before May.
Okay. Thank you. I have another question.
Thank you.
For the area, like if you're looking for a particular area, so I need to send an email to you and Jeff, right?
Yeah, if you've been working with Jeff, connect with him. If you're working with me, Marty at codeninjas.com, feel free to email me, and I'll help you out as well.
Okay, I've not been working with you guys so far, so maybe. So I should get that zip code, that information for the market?
Yeah, send me an email and we'll connect offline. Don't say the area. You don't want somebody to be buying it out from underneath you. So, connect with me one-on-one, Marty at codeninjas.com.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, you have a question?
Hi, Marty. This is Todd. I was just one of the questions I had related to an earlier question was, how soon can we start enrolling students? Is it when we start construction? Is it when we get the franchise license for that territory?
Typically, your dashboard, your whole internal system goes live anywhere from 30 to 45 days before you open. So we give you a 16-week pre-opening marketing template roadmap to follow, so that you're able to have all those pre-tuition enrollments, all those monies coming in, or shortly, or getting kids enrolled. So right when you crack your doors for business, you can do a draft. And for example, those 59, if you hit that average, which our centers do 59, you could draft 59 students immediately.
Great, thank you.
Now some are going to pay in full, but you can draft some of them. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Last question was, with some other franchises, I've seen where they'll do exclusive or proprietary deals with, and again, I don't have a really good example in this industry, but let's say it's printing. They might develop a proprietary partnership with like Under Armour, so they're the only printer that can actually sell and print directly onto Under Armour garments. Do you guys have anything like that you're looking at in the future, or do you see value in that for Code Ninjas? And I guess it'd be, of course, more in the service industry, right? Applying that to your model. Does that make sense?
Oh, we would love to have proprietary relationships within. That's something we're always considering. We do have some relationships set up on that are required vendors. Then we have preferred vendors. So there's that relationship there. We're always looking to add great companies, preferred vendors, and if they have to be required because they're essential to our brand and what we're doing, then they become a required vendor.
Yeah, it was less vendor related in terms of build out, more vendor related, I guess, in terms of I guess what I was thinking was, man, wouldn't it be great if we had a proprietary partnership with someone that was really known for coding or pushing the envelope, MIT, right? I'm just.
Oh yeah, there's for example, we have a robotics program that's exclusive just to Code Ninjas in all of North America. They have 1,300 locations in Japan, and we have exclusive rights to their robotic program in all of North America. So we have relationships like that, and we're always looking to build on relationships like that. For example, one of our programs one of the curriculums inside of our belt system is also a program that's available out there in the public, but the difference is they customized it just for Code Ninjas. They expanded it, and they customized it just for us. Is that platform available elsewhere? Kind of, but not as a Code Ninjas. And we have snap circuits that are making proprietary snap circuits just for us. We have companies calling us often, actually wanting to create curriculum just for Code Ninjas. So that's already starting to happen, which is really exciting that we have companies coming to us saying, hey, let us build you something. We had a 3D printer company saying, hey, no, let us build you something for a curriculum. So it's already starting to happen, and I think the more and more awareness that happens and as we grow, I believe the more and more that's going to happen.
Great. Thank you, Marty.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, you have a question? Hello, question? Hi, do you have a question?
Hey, Marty, I have a question on business licenses and permits. What's the complexity to procure all these, like the registration and the licenses?
It's actually very simple. We're a single source curriculum, so it actually is very simple. It means that we're not a multi-curriculum brand, which means we don't teach math and science, and we don't teach reading. We don't tutor any of those. We're a single source curriculum, so we have not had any issues with obtaining a business license certificates and to open in any state so far in any community.
Okay, and what's the longest part of the of opening the entire franchisee? What?
Making sure you have your real estate. Real estate can be the most difficult.
Okay, and the total time, I would say, would take about 7 to 8 months once you have the real estate?
No, when you have the real estate, 3 months. The day you sign your lease, you'll be open within 90 days from the day you sign your lease. Construction is so short. So the day you sign your lease, you'll be open within 90 days from that day. That's typical of what we see.
Okay. And going back to my first question, what kind of business licenses and permits do you need for this?
Well, we work with you individually as with our compliance team, so we help you identify, but it's a very simple business license, so we even help you identify what that needs to look like. It's very easy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, you have a question? Hello, do you have a question? Hi, do you have a question?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I wanted to know, and maybe you said that already and I missed it, but what's the average cost? What's the average cost for a student on a monthly basis? And also, you guys came, or maybe you specifically came from developing other franchise, companies. If you could maybe elaborate on that, or just give us a little more background on the management behind this operation.
Sure. So when it comes to our average cost per student in the franchise disclosure document, it's going to show between $180 and about $220, $225 for our average drop-in student. Some of our centers charge more than that. Some of our centers charge a little bit less. We suggest a baseline of $150 and then work your way up from there based on the cost of living in your community, based on your cost of doing business. We ask you to start at about $150 and then work your way up from there. And like I said, we have some centers that charge all the way up to $300 depending on the location. Our history in terms of franchising, I myself was with the Anytime Fitness brand for 12 years. I was the 6th employee and helped build that company from 50 locations to when I left in October of 2016, had more than 3,600 locations. And again, being the 6th employee, the first 3 were the actual founders, and then there was 3 of us working directly with them. Now they have, 4,600, almost 5,000 locations across the country. So being in inner workings of that for many, many years. Along with that, after I left there after 12 years, I came over here. I recruited some individuals that I worked with in the past at my past brand after they had left. So our marketing director, he has about 7 years of franchising experience. He was the director of marketing over at SEB, is what that's called over there, Self-Esteem Brands. The old COO, who was over there for about 6 years, he's over here with us as well, and his name is Jeff Thames. I worked with him for 6 years over that. Our legal counsel was over there for about 6 years, and now she's our legal counsel over here. So they had all left there, and then I recruited them to come over here. Our internal compliance department which is crucial for any brand. It's really important to understand the compliance and brand consistency side of things. We have 2 individuals that are incredible. They worked at a small company called AIG. There are a couple of vice presidents of operations and compliance over there. They had retired from there, and we were fortunate enough to have a relationship with them prior to that, and then bringing them on board over here. They're incredible individuals. That Liza and John, phenomenal compliance department. We have small business owners that have left small business and now work in our support team. We have individuals with game. We have a couple individuals with actual degrees in gaming who are part of the support team, which obviously is critical for supporting those who want to understand the coding and gaming side of it. We also have individuals that were presidents of Chamber of Commerce and involved deeply in the Chamber of Commerce and deeply rooted into the community involvement part of our support structure. So multi-layered in terms of who we have. We have 3 full-time game curriculum developers. David Graham, the CEO and founder of Code Ninjas, he owned his own company for a while, but he was a franchisee of the last brand, and that's how he and I met. And he actually was hired by Anytime Fitness, FEB brands. He was a franchisee, but he was also hired by them to build their operating system. So when you scan your key card at an Anytime Fitness in New York and you fly to Australia and you scan your key card there, that's because of David Graham. So he got a chance to look under the hood of a great franchise and build their operating system. And then when he sold his franchise, and he went on to start Coder Camps, which is now called Wazoo. He sold that, and that company is now called Wazoo. So he's very. So when it comes to our history and our backbone of our company, really, I've been in franchising for 15 years, and I'm 100% confident with our entire team to be able to deliver on everything that we say.
Okay. As a franchisee, when you have a location, you want to be protected in that territory. What sort of radius, I guess, or, does it even exist that you cannot have another franchise right next door to you?
Well, I think this is really important this is a really important question. There's about 25 people left. We lost about 10, which is fine. But the 25 that are still on, I want you to understand how important this question is, because you can't just give an answer of yes or no, or 5 mile, 2 mile, 1 mile. You can't just do that. We have internal matrices that we go by. So we have an internal matrix that we have to meet for us to approve a territory that is viable and available. Then we have all those demographics requirements that we have to also meet. Those demographic requirements have to have a certain amount of income, a certain number of students in our age range within a 2 to 3 mile circle around your actual desired location. Now, knowing that, so we have a 2 to 3 mile protected radius, but what we don't do is we don't do major territory border to territory border overlap. So when you look at the different factors, it has to meet our internal matrix, has to meet the external demographics. The territory has to, so that 2 to 3 mile, and the territory has to be spaced far enough away from another location to where they're not going to be cannibalizing each other. So a lot of franchises will say you get a 3 mile radius, but then they'll put another franchise 3.2 miles away. We don't do that because that's major territory overlap. We know exactly how many students are going to be in your market. So we want to keep our centers further away from one another, not stacking them to where they're every 2 to 3 miles.
I see. Okay. I guess further discussion, it's just through direct emails and phone calls at a later time, I guess, right?
Yep. Yeah, we can dig in.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you. Hi, you have a question?
Yes, certainly. What sort of training a sensei, the instructor, needs? For example, you mentioned the majority of the instructors are in the age range of 17 to 22, and if they are college students or high school seniors, or but they have exposure to IT or coding, what sort of training does Code Ninjas provide them, or how long it is? Is it remote? Things of that nature. If you could add.
So everything is remote. Yeah, they don't. Everything would be remote. and they're going to be working with 7 to 14 years old. So when you have a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old that's working part-time for you, they're also they have a robotics background, a computer science background. They've done coding, programming. They're interested in it. This is what they want to do. So when they come in, they're eager to get rolling on the curriculum. They want to do that curriculum. They want to get rolling on it. They want to get involved. They want to be able to do the curriculum themselves. So we give you ideas of how they can we want our code senseis are not coaching kids anything past what they haven't done. So they have to go with what they have done, and then they can coach kids up to that, our students up to that place. So our code senseis are consistently working through the curriculum. They're never just going to be coming in and saying, I'm going to use my experience to go ahead and coach these kids. No, they themselves also have to be working through the curriculum.
Oh, okay. Okay. How long is the training, though, for them to be ready to teach?
It all depends on them themselves. But typically, what would take a 7-year-old would take a month to accomplish within our curriculum, it's going to take a code sensei a couple of days because their cognitive skills are so much more advanced. So it really depends on them themselves. But usually a few weeks, they're pretty caught up pretty quick. And they're also working with students that whole time. So when there's downtime, they're going and working on the curriculum and advancing themselves so they can continue to coach our students.
I see. And the follow-up question is that how has it been your experience getting, whenever you open a center, how difficult or how easy was it to get these instructors hired?
Oh, it's so easy. We've never had a problem. 75 centers enrolling students. We've never had a problem with hiring code senseis. Never.
Got it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for taking their time today to. If you are interested in attending a Discovery Day or digging in more with Code Ninjas, Discovery Days are by invitation only, but we also obviously would love to dig in with you further. You can reach out to me at any time, which is marty@codeninjas.com. Feel free to reach out. Again, thank you for taking the time today to join the Code Ninjas conference call, and we look forward to working with you.